Yes, we are live now. Yeah. Hello, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm just 2 minutes late. There was some setup issue, so let's get started. So once again, thank you so much for joining, and let's wait for 2 more minutes, and then we'll continue with our session. In the meanwhile, let me quickly take few topics from the chat. Hey, hi Dapo. Dapo says, hi Mukesh, thank you so far for this, and really looking forward for the training starting in less than 12 hours. Thank you. And I sent one email regarding an error which I got from yes Dapo, I checked your email. So in the current application I will show you what exactly the issue is, and it is totally fine. It is accepted because the moment you try to capture error messages, it's not coming immediately. It's coming after 2 seconds, 3 seconds, right? So that is actually we need to handle sync issue in our script. So for the time being, you can put thread.sleep of 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Once the error message comes, it will capture. We will handle them in a better way using implicit wait, explicit wait, and fluent wait. For the time being, you can put thread.sleep of 3000 millisecond, and that should work. But that is just a temporary workaround. We will be doing that in a more efficient way in future session. Okay, so before we start the session, please give me a quick confirmation. Am I audible properly, and can you see my screen as well? Let me also start Eclipse so that we can start writing our code. Hi Jyoti, hi Anji, hi Swapna. Anji says, hi, I have joined your paid sessions. I'm eagerly waiting for tomorrow's session. Yes, Anji, I'm also waiting to see all of you. So tomorrow morning will start. I hope you must have received email. If you have not received email, you can log into the portal. Click on the course. On the right hand side, you will get the joining link. You can click on that link and you can directly join the session tomorrow morning. Anji says, hi sir, I'm also using MacBook Pro and my current Java version is 17. How do I reduce it to Java 11? See Anji, you can download, first of all, you can uninstall the Java 17. See, if it is working right now, it's okay, you can continue, but later on we need to switch to Java 11. So you can uninstall Java 17 and start with 11. But if 17 is working for you right now, we can continue with that. Okay, Mehboob said, okay sir, it's good. Hi Pallavi, hi Ayappa. Perfect. So let's quickly start the workspace. And those who are joining this session first time, so quickly let me announce that tomorrow we are starting the fresh batch from the scratch using Java. So it's job ready web automation using Selenium, Java, and Cucumber BTT. Those who have not enrolled so far, you can enroll. And it's a complete live training end to end, and it's a weekend batch, Saturday, Sunday, 7:30 to 9:30 AM IST. And thanks Dapo for joining, because I know it's very late for you, but still you enroll, so it means a lot to me, and I will try my best to give you the best training so far. Okay, along with that you will get the recordings, study material, exercises, and email support along with the doubt clearing session. So this is the complete link. I will quickly share in the chat. Those who have enrolled, I will see you tomorrow. Those who have not enrolled, you can join, and you can also use my coupon code called Mukesh Otwani 10 for additional 10% off. Prakash says, how to enroll. Chetna says, hi sir, I have also enrolled tomorrow class. So Chetna, Prakash, you must have got an email. So in the email you will find the link how to join. If not, you can log into the portal, and on the right hand side you will get a link how to join. Let me show you here as well. so that you should not miss that email. In case if you have missed, you can directly log into the portal, click on my courses. Okay, the moment you click on the course, on the right hand side you will find live class link. The moment you click on this link, you will be redirected and you can directly join. Yes, Jyoti, that is a paid live training program, but this one which we are having, it's completely free. Okay, so let's continue. So in the last session, we have seen how to just do the basic login part, where we have seen how to find element and how to type and how to click, right? But today we will move ahead and we will be automating one sign up page where we have radio button, checkboxes, drop downs as well. So let me show you this application that we are going to automate. So let me open this link. Okay, so this part we did yesterday, and now I will be clicking on this new user and sign up. The moment you click this, you will be getting this page. Now here is a small catch. So Dapo, this is again, you will be getting the same issue here as well. Just notice the moment I click on new user and sign up, did you notice it took 1 or 2 seconds to load this page, right? Sometime it takes 3 seconds also. Let me show you once again. Selenium, don't wait even a single second. The moment you click on this, it will try to find these items on this page. If it is not available immediately, it will throw no such element exception. Okay, so since we have not discussed about the wait, I will put thread.sleep, or I can directly land to this page and I can continue. Okay, so let me show you that part. So copy this, come back, and let's create a separate program. And let me call this as first web automation 3. So driver dot find element. See, yesterday we discussed, right? We have find element and find elements. I'm going to use find element now. And since that is a separate link, I will be using link text. And just a quick announcement again, those who are joining this session directly from the 4th class, I would highly recommend you to watch the last 3 sessions. There we discuss so many things, okay, like how to configure the basics of Selenium, then how to write your first Selenium scripts, WebDriver manager, how to interact with basic web elements. So we have done already this in the past. Now we'll click on this new user. So this is actually a link text. So I will copy from here and I will paste here. Now the moment I click, it takes few seconds to come to this page. So for the time being, I will use thread.sleep of 3 seconds. As I said earlier, it's not a good practice, but since we have not discussed about the dynamic wait part, we'll stick to this workaround. So basically, this complete Java program is executed by a single thread. So it will come till here, then that thread which is running, it will pause for 3000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. If my page is taking more than 3 seconds, the next element which is taking more than 3 seconds, it will fail again. I might have to increase this again. Okay, sometime what if it takes 10 seconds, then again I have to increase here. So this is not dynamic. We will remove this. As of now, 3 seconds is enough in order to load that page. Now this page have couple of things. First of all is your regular email, name and password. And this part we have already seen. This is using send keys we can type. If you notice, they are very straightforward now. This is actually my input, name, second one is email, and third one is password. And every field have ID, ID, ID. It also have name, name, name. So I can directly go ahead with name or IDs. Or if I want to write my XPath or CSS, I can also use any of this attribute and continue. So as of now, I will go with name, driver dot find element by name, and let me use name called, let's say, Mukesh Selenium. Just to save some time, I can copy paste, okay, or else let's quickly write. It would hardly take a seconds. Again, I will take, see guys, don't get confused with this name equal to name, okay, because here it is same. So if you're getting confused, you can take ID as well, because ID and name, they both have the same value. So you can take this ID, doesn't matter. Now here in the name, it's email. So I can go ahead and write dot send keys Mukesh Selenium @gmail.com. Same thing I will do for password. For password, I can go ahead and take the name again. Driver dot find element by name, and let me use password as test@1234. That's a standard password we tester use, right? So I'm using the same, test@1234. Now this is the main part. How do you interact, or how do you click on a specific checkbox or radio button? See guys, whether it's a radio button or checkbox, they both have click functionality, right? So don't treat them as a separate element. You can find them and you can perform click directly. For example, I want to click on this testing. Now here is a very interesting part which you need to understand, that why do we need XPath and why do we need CSS? If you notice, this is actually testing checkbox, right? Notice the value here is very random. Yesterday I was talking about the dynamic part, right? Dynamic values, dynamic attribute values. This is called dynamic 63076, and it's something which will change every time, or whenever there's a new changes in the application, it will change. So I'm not going to use this. Can I use type equal to checkbox? You can, but notice here you have multiple checkboxes. So obviously it's going to match with multiple elements. So this is also as of now rejected, but we can use this with checkbox. Focus on the name, focus on ID. They all have dynamic values, right? I can take right now, I will run it, it might run, but what if it changes tomorrow? You have to keep on maintaining these name and ID, right? You have to keep on updating. So what is the solution now? Now I can take this text also, right? If you notice, if I click on this text box, it is selecting this. If I click on this text, checkbox is getting selected. If I click here, this is selecting. So can I directly go and click on this text, which is actually a label here? Answer is yes, we can do that. Now I can write a quick XPath. I will say go ahead, find a label where text is equal to testing, and it will go ahead and find. Now those who have missed the few previous sessions, we have already discussed in detail, not in this community session, the previous community sessions, how to write XPath and CSS selector in detail. So I'm using one of the text function of XPath, which will help you to write XPath based on the text, which I will show you now. So you can use SelectorsHub, which is one of the XPath plugin, which will automatically give you multiple selectors. Okay, so you can install this extension called SelectorsHub. Let me show you that. Just a second. Seems I have to change the battery. SelectorsHub.com. This is one of the plugin which will help you to write XPath, verify XPath. Not only XPath, you can verify CSS selectors as well. It will help you to identify frames, shadow DOM. You can also add a debug breakpoint. Lot of functionality available on SelectorsHub. I will be coming up with a dedicated video on this. For the time being, you can install this. It's a Chrome plugin, Firefox plugin, Edge, Opera, Brave. It's available on all the major browsers. You can click on install and you can start using it. So you don't have to write manually. It will give you auto suggestions as well. The moment you click on install, it will redirect you to the official Chrome Web Store. In my case, I already have. In your case, if you don't have, it will give you add to Chrome. You can add and you can start using it. How to use it, I will show you now. So by default, when you right click, some issue with my mouse. Okay. The moment you right click, you can see we have inspect, right? Here you will not see SelectorsHub. You need to click on these two dots, then you will see SelectorsHub, and here you can find actually search box where you can search or you can type. For example, if I click on this inspector and click on this testing, you will notice it's generating multiple XPath. One is relative CSS selectors, relative XPath, index-based XPath, test trigger path, and jQuery. I'm going to use this XPath, which is relative XPath. The moment you click here, it will be copied. Or if you want to write from the scratch, just type /label. The moment I use bracket, you can see I'm getting list of auto suggestion for this particular keyword. So I can use text function and I will say find testing. Can you see it's highlighting here? I can take this XPath and now I can use driver dot find element by XPath and I can say dot click. That's all. See, we have multiple XPath function. We have contains, we have normalized space, we have text function, plus you can use following sibling. There's so many things in XPath. So once we move ahead in the course, then we'll discuss this. Those who are not joining, for them I have a dedicated videos. Please go ahead and watch. I will link them in the description. Fine. In the same way, now let's say if I want to click on a gender, so I can go ahead and I can search this. I can click on this label, but here if you see, label also working and this also working. It's up to us. So I can go ahead and again write find a label where text is equal to male. Can you see it's highlighted? I can copy. I can say find element. I will be checking the comments later on, but let me quickly write this XPath here and say dot click. Just a second, guys. Just give me a minute. Just give me 2 minutes, guys. I will be back. There's some urgent call. Yeah. Fine. So I will be using this XPath. and as usual I will say dot click. Now how to verify the number of checkboxes, number of radio button, number of input boxes, number of drop downs, we'll see that as well. But as of now, let's complete this form, because until I don't complete this form, this button is disabled. So we can do one more thing, like before filling all these values, I can verify whether this button is disabled or not. And after selecting or after filling all the values, this button should be enabled. Now see the beauty of this plugin, it is automatically giving you all these options. You can directly go ahead and use it. But here now we have some direct attributes. So you can use type equal to submit because it's a button. We also have a class called btn submit hyphen btn. This is the main part. There is one keyword called disabled, right? Because of that, that button is disabled. And there's a text also. So there are multiple options to use here. I will go ahead and let's say take this class. And before even doing anything, I will check if driver dot find element by class name. So this will return me web element, right? I will say, is this enabled? If it is enabled, I will say button is enabled, else button is disabled. Okay, this is not a proper assertion. As I said, we will be using the actual assertions later on, but just to get the proper state and proper values, I use is enabled. If yes, print this, otherwise print this. Now let's click on this drop down. See, for drop down, if you notice, it's a select tag. Before I talk about select tag, how many of you are okay? So let me reduce my image because it's hiding some of the XPath. Yeah. Thanks, Anjay. I was not aware that it's hiding the locators part. How many of you have worked on the dropdown, or how many of you already know how to handle select dropdown in Selenium? Let me know in the chat section. Please let me know in the chat section. Amol says select class. Okay, that's great. What about others? Any other way? Jairam says how to write relative XPath. So Jairam, as I said, we have done 2 dedicated sessions on locators. I will be giving them giving the link in the description. After the session, you can go ahead and watch. Okay, Chetna says yes, I know. Take it into the list and click. Yes, Amol, that is another way where you will get all the values in a list and you can run a loop and you can put a condition. If that is the case, click on it. You can do multiple things. Fayaz says select class and find elements if the tag is not select. Great, Fayaz. So if it is a select tag, we have a dedicated class in Selenium called select class. This select class have one constructor which will ask you the driver as an argument. The moment you pass the driver argument, you will get object of select class. Then you can use multiple methods which select class provide, like select by name, select by index, not by name, it's actually select by index, select by value, and select by visible text. In the same way, we have deselect. So if you have multi-select drop-down where you have to deselect, you can deselect as well. Let me show you all of this. So all these values which you can see, it will come under options. So if you expand this, you can see all these values is coming under option. So select is tag, option is also tag. So under select, whatever options you can see on the UI, it's coming under option. The first one, which is a hidden value called select state, and these are the values which is getting displayed, right? So I can select any value, and we can do multiple things actually. We can see how many values are present, which is the selected value, select, deselect, multiple things. So let me first run this basic flow, then we'll explore this drop down in a detail. Let's say I want to select Goa, but before selecting Goa I need to reach to that element. So this is the element, I have a name, I have a ID, they both have the same value, state and state. So I can use any one of this. So driver dot find element by ID. See, now this will return me web element. I will say this is my state. Now I cannot say directly dot click, okay, because it's a drop down. So I will say select class. Select class is coming from support package. It models a select tag providing helper methods to select and deselect the options. So I will say this is state drop down equal to new select, and you can see in the constructor it is asking the web element, because you might have multiple drop downs on the same page, right? So which one you want to select, you have to provide. So I'm providing this state drop down. Now I want to show you the source code also, because here if you will be getting sometimes one exception which I want to highlight now. So the moment you open the source code, internally what exactly it does, whatever web element you will pass. See, this is actually internal Selenium code. So even if you don't understand, don't panic, because this is completely pure Java code. So if you understand Java, then you can understand the source code. But even if you're not able to understand this, no problem. Go back to your Java basics. You will understand each and everything. The first thing what internally does, first of all, you notice it's a separate class, and this is the constructor, right? Constructor have the same name as the class name, no return type, not even void. So whatever web element you will pass, first of all it will check the tag name. Yesterday we discussed this method, right? Get tag name. So input tag, div tag, span tag, hyperlink, which is anchor tag image, it will return you. Now it is checking if it is equal to null, or you can see this or, and if it is not equal to select, then throw this exception called unexpected tag name exception. It means in order to work this, it has to be select tag. So it should not be null first of all, and it should be select. So if any of the condition is false, sorry, true. So if it is null or if it is not select tag, it will throw this exception. Then it checks this attribute actually, is it multiple drop down or not? If not multiple, it will continue. For multi-select drop down, we have a different methods as well. Okay, so I will show you now. And then you will find all these methods is multiple, get wrapped element, and get all selected options. See, here they're using Java 8. So somebody was asking, right, that should we use Java 8 stream or not? So if you know, you can use, because internally if you see Java source code have multiple Java 8 methods. The main part which I wanted to show you, this exception. If you pass input tag or any other tag, you will be getting this tag name exception. Perfect. Let's go ahead and start exploring. So this is the state dropdown object. Now the moment I put dot, you will get all the methods of select class. Here you can use these methods. This is the method is multiple. Obviously this is not a multi-select dropdown, it will return false. If it is multi-select dropdown, you will be getting true. So if you want, we can print the state of this dropdown is multiple. And now in order to select, I can say select, and you can see we have 3 methods for selection, 3 methods for deselection. Select by index, which takes index as an argument. Index always start from 0. So if you want to select third value, you will pass 2, 0, 1, 2. If you want to select fifth value, you will pass 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second method is select by value. So this value is actually the value attribute that you see in the DOM, not the visible text. Visible text have a separate method. So in our case, value and visible text is same, but I will show you few applications where they are different. So if you pass the value, if that exists, you will be getting, it will select that value. Otherwise it will throw no such element exception. Can you see this? And if you pass some index, if that does not exist, so it will again, since it is not able to select, it will throw you no such element exception again. Third one, the most preferred one is visible text, because here you will actually click or select the value which is visible on the screen. Let's go ahead one by one. So if I will try to use 2. So what is the second value? When I say 2, it means third value. So third value will be Assam. Okay. Now I want to see that actual value has been selected as Assam or not. Now how do I get this value? So again, I can use this state drop down, and I will say one method called get first selected option. So when we say index 2, it will select the third value, right? When I call this method called get first selected option, it will return me the selected value. In our case, it will be Assam. Now this will return me a web element, the complete web element. Now again, I can call multiple methods that we have for that web element, right? I just want to capture the text. So I can directly say dot get text. It will return me Assam. I can either print, or I can write the if else conditions, or I can write the proper assertion. For the time being, I will just say sys out. Now you can continue, it will work. But I want to show you in the same drop down all the 3 methods. So first I will select Assam. I will print. After 2 seconds, let me try using the different method. Guys, you don't have to use all the 3 methods. I'm using all the 3 methods because I want to explain all of this, but you will be using one of them. Now which one is the most preferred one, I will tell you at the end. But let's say after 2 seconds, I want to select a different value. See, this is also not required because it will immediately go ahead and select the different values. I want to show you the demo, so I added this, but you can remove this when you start running. Second method is select by value. See, this value is the exact value which is coming as a visible, here in the DOM. You can see this value attribute, right? So whatever you will pass here, it will select. Let's say I want to select Gujarat, so I will use this Gujarat. In our case, they both are same right now, right? But in few cases, value will be different, visible text will be different. So you have to focus on the value now. So let's say I want to select Gujarat. And now again, I want to check whether Gujarat has been selected or not. So I will do one thing. Now this method is sometimes confusing because it says get first selected option. So you must be thinking it will always return me the first, but it will actually return you the last selected value. So if I select Assam and if I call, it will return me Assam. if I select Gujarat and if I call get first selected option, so whatever selected option is available, it will return you. In our case, it will be Gujarat. And if you ask me that give me one example where value and visible text is different, I can show you. Let's open Facebook, click on create new account. You can see I have 3 drop downs, right? This is one drop down, second drop down, third drop down. Let's open this drop down and inspect. Yeah. Can you see all this value? For Jan, value is 1. For Feb, value is 2. Right now we're in September, so value is 9. So if I pass 9, it will select September. So this value is different. Visible text is different. Okay. Let's use the last one, which is state drop down, and I will just select by visible text. And we don't need this now. Let me select Goa this time. And again guys, it's case sensitive, so if you're using Gujarat, make sure you give the exact thing. Even if space is there, you have to provide the space. Okay, so even here if you make a small g, it will not work. It has to be exact same. And let's say again I want to print, so I will print the text. What is next? After this I will click on sign up. So for sign up I can use this again, driver.find element by class name, and I will say dot, and now I can actually write here if driver.find element by class name this, if it is enabled then only click, otherwise don't click, because if you try to click on the disabled one you will be getting exception. So I can store this into a variable first. Web element, I will say sign up button, driver.find element by class name, right? So this is actually my web element. So first I will check if it is enabled, then only click, and now my web page is ready. Fine. So let me run this. Guys, as I said again, I'm not adding conditions here. Actually for each and everything you can write a condition, that if I select 2, if it is Assam then say test pass, otherwise failed. If it is after selecting the value, capture the text. If text is equal to Gujarat, then pass. If this is selected as Goa, pass, otherwise fail. As of now I'm just printing, so this I will keep for your task or your assignment. Let's run this and see whether it's creating a new user or not. Okay, so test started. See, clicked on it and it will type, it will click on testing, mail, Arunachal Pradesh, okay, Gujarat, Goa, then it clicked on sign up. Okay, so I need to see this Arunachal Pradesh. So actually we have given indexes 2, right? So third value. So what is happening? If you notice here, can you see this is, you need to understand the DOM, how DOM is designed. This is actually 0, it's hidden, right? So when you are clicking on this, that is not getting visible, but in the DOM this is at 0th position. Then we have Andhra Pradesh and then we have Arunachal Pradesh as second. So when I'm saying 2, it's giving me Arunachal Pradesh. But when you click here, right, it's not showing here. Why? Because of this hidden. So this is how you need to see the DOM and verify. And if you notice, it actually completed the form and it must have created a user. So we need to verify, right? But before doing that, let me quickly check manually. Are we able to log in with this new user or not? Just now I created this user through automation. Now let me log in and see. See, we are able to log in and we are getting practice page and sign out. So I can click on sign it and I can continue. So this is now your task, or I will say assignment, that you can create a user, then complete this task where login with new user, then first of all verify that a new user is able to see logout. Now click on logout and again verify whether logout is done successfully or not. So verify login section, because after login logout you will be getting a login section. Okay, so just check it once. So before I talk about different methods of Dropdown, is this clear to everyone? Please give me quick information in the chat window. If you have any question related to this, please ask. Purushottam says yes, great. What about others? Pallavi says yes, great. Guys, start interacting in the chat window. Let's make it little interactive so that I will understand that how many people are getting. If you have an issue, please ask. Okay, fine. Now let's go ahead and just a second. Let's see a couple of more methods of this dropdown. So I will create a separate script now, and whatever file I have created, I will just give you in the resource section. You can go ahead and download. See, I don't want to fill the complete form now. I will quickly do one thing, that after reaching here, I will come to this state as of now directly. Or anyways, we can directly come to this page, sign up page. Okay, I missed one part here, so let me highlight. Now what is the recommended method? Okay, should you go with select by value, select by visible text or index? The preferred one is visible text. See, values is something which can be changed. Okay, developer can make any changes to the DOM and the source code, and it can change, right? Because values can be dynamic. But visible text is something which is actually as per our application, as per the customer requirement. So this might change. If it is changing, obviously it's a customer requirement. In that case, we'll update, but it will not update very frequently. So go with the visible text always. Second preference will go to select by value. Last preference will go to select by index, because index keep on changing. Even if I add a new state or remove a new state, it will keep changing. So this I will keep the third choice. Second choice is select by value. First choice is always select by visible text. So coming back to the example, now I want to check the count or maybe I want to print all the values of this drop down. Now how do I first of all get the list of all the values that we have in a drop down? So I can say, first of all, use this object called state drop down, and I will say get option. See, we have three methods with get. So get options, which will return me list of web elements, because in the state I have multiple web elements, right? So I will get list of web elements. I can iterate one by one. I can capture the text and put my conditions. So let's say I want to check whether in this state drop down I have Goa or not, or maybe Karnataka or any specific state. I can add a condition and break the loop. I can check the count, right? Whether the count is equal to this or not. And the get first selected option is, we have already seen, it will return you single web element. Now get options returns you a list. So I will say list of web element, and I will say all values. It will ask me to import. So let me import this list. And now I can use Java 8 streams. I can use for loop. I can use while loop. I can use for each loop, which is enhanced for loop. It's up to us. So I will go with enhanced for loop, where I will store all these values one by one. How it works? Here I will pass the list. So you can consider this is actually our list where we have all these values, right? When I say values, right now all are our web element. Web element 1, web element 2, 3, and so on. So it will pick the first value and it will assign into ELE. In the second iteration, it will take the second element, assign into ELE. Third iteration, take the third value. So this loop will keep on running until this list is not empty. We don't have to give any counter here, like increment by 1, increment by 2, check the condition. This enhanced for loop will keep on running until all the values are not done from this list. Now tell me guys, if I just print ELE, what should be the output? Will it return the text? Will it return the web element or print the web element, or will it print something else? Let me know what should be the output if I just print ELE. Dapo says not very clear, if you can run through from the drop down. Yes, Dapo, this is what we are doing now. Anyways, you are in the my course, so in the course we will be discussing about select drop down, multi-select drop down, non-select drop down, Angular drop down, Bootstrap drop down. Lot of examples we will be covering. So I can see the answers. Purushottam says it will return the count. Abhay says index number. Tabrez says state 1, 2, like, okay. Let's run this code and see the output. Okay, it's getting started. Just notice. See, first of all, did you notice it took some time, right? I removed the thread.sleep and it failed. So again, I will be getting no such element exception. So Dapo, this is the same thing which you also got. Now, if you don't want to use thread.sleep, you can use driver.manage.timeout.implicitly wait. This is little advanced topic, but I will try to explain now so that you can at least avoid this thread.sleep. See, implicitly wait. Just a second. Now what exactly this implicitly wait will do? See, method name is implicitly wait, but the general name, if you go through the documentation, it's implicit wait. It means we are instructing our WebDriver that if this is my application and let's say I have a couple of elements, by default Selenium don't wait even a single second. If it is not available, fail. But using implicitly wait, we are passing a duration here. Duration 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 hours. You can change the duration from here. We are saying this is the maximum duration. When I say maximum, if my elements is coming within 1 second, move ahead, go to the next. If it is taking even 2, wait 2, within 2 seconds coming, go to the next element. So it's not like thread.sleep where it will blindly wait for that amount of time. It's dynamic and it's actually applicable for all the elements. Here we are not saying that wait for this element or wait for this element. Implicitly wait for the complete script. If the elements are not coming immediately, wait. Max 10. If it is taking more than 10, then obviously it will fail. But here within 10 seconds, if they're coming, it will identify and move to the next. So if you have 100 steps also, it will be applicable for all the 100 steps. Now if I run this, you will see it will not fail and you will get the output. Okay, so it's starting. If you come here, can you see it's printing web elements? So it's not printing the text actually. It is printing the web element. Right? And if you try to debug also, you will find the same values. This is actually a web element, not index, not number, not value. We are printing the direct element. If you want to capture something, you can put dot and you can capture now. You can capture the tag, text, attributes, CSS values, state like is displayed, is enabled. So directly printing ELE will not help. So I can say get text. Now we'll get the actual values which is coming inside the dropdown. So this will be a list. I'm just taking 4. Each one have element, element, element. So we'll pick the element from here one by one. We'll say capture the text and we are printing here. It will move to the next and capture the text, move to the next, capture the text, and so on. So we are printing all the text now. Now if you run, you will get the output. Okay, just notice here. Did you notice it's not blindly waiting? The moment we have element, it's running my code and moving to the next. Since we have only one web element, it's printing all the values. Okay, since we are able to capture the value, now I can write my if else condition. Right? If I say if let's say the state is Kerala or Karnataka, it means I verified, now I want to break. Now I can write if else condition here. I can say if element dot text. See, I can store this into a variable and I can reuse it. So instead of, I will say here state name, state name, if it contains state name dot contains, if it is equal to Karnataka, like if it contains, you can use equal to, because equals, equal, ignore case also you can use, because we are looking for the exact match now. If available, I will say state present and I will break. See, if I don't break, it will keep on running. but the moment I will get Karnataka, I want to break, it will come out of this loop. And I can print here the state name. And once it is run, let's say I want to close it immediately, because otherwise I have to keep on closing them manually. See, it's not that you have to always do this, depends on your test. Sometimes you just need to select the value and continue. In that case, no need to do this. Sometimes you need to verify the count. Sometimes you need to verify the values, right? So depends on your test. Now you have a list of web elements. So it's up to you. Now it's completely your Java concepts. How do you want to play with this list of items that you have? Now if I go ahead and run this, okay, as soon as the page loaded, and here we go. So it started picking one by one. So it's taking all these values one by one. The moment it is reaching Karnataka, the condition is matching, then it's breaking. So it's not running the further loop, it's coming out of that, and we are saying driver.quit. So it's closing the browser. Okay, so this is I was printing so that you can get the output. But in your code, you can just write the condition here. You can put the assert here and break. Mehboob says, if it find within 5 seconds, what happened? See, it will move ahead. That is the advantage of implicit wait, Mehboob. That 10 seconds is the max. Within 10 seconds, if it comes, it will go to the next element. So it's a smart wait. It's a global. Global means once you define, it will wait for elements which is coming after this statement. We are not giving only for a specific web element. It will be applicable for complete session which is running. Is this clear to everyone? And see, now you got the list, right? So you can also get the count here. I will say total count is, this is my list. How to get the list? Using size. So like how to get the count using size method. So this list, whatever values we have, it will return you. And if you want to run, if you want to see the breakpoint, I will put a breakpoint here. Okay, let's run this in a debug mode. Notice guys, this is very, very important now. See, this is all my values. If I put mouse over all values, this is actually all values. Notice here, each and everything is a web element. So when I will run a loop, it will pick one by one these web elements and it will continue. So if I execute this next statement, the moment I said dot size, I got total count 37. Okay, starting from 0 till 36, total count 37. Now notice here, from this list, one by one I'm picking. It will return me the first web element, okay, which is actually this one. Now I will say get text. The text which I got is select state, this one. Okay, now it is checking, is select state contains Karnataka? Obviously no, it will move to the next element. Then again pick the second element, capture the text. This time the text is Andhra Pradesh. It will print here, you can see it's printing. Is Andhra Pradesh contains Karnataka? No. Again go ahead, and this is how it will keep on running. There will be a moment where it will reach Karnataka. It will go inside this, break and continue. See, finally it reached here. Now Karnataka contains Karnataka, yes. It will print state present, it's printing. Then the moment I say break, it will come out of this loop, and now it will say driver.quit. Okay, so total count, values, and so on. Okay, please give me quick confirmation in the chat window. We have seen different methods of Dropdown today. So we have seen how to work with radio buttons, checkboxes, Dropdown different values, and we are able to automate the login scenario, registration as well. Now slowly once you move ahead, you will find multiple scenarios where you have to deal with calendar controls, auto suggestions, different kind of drop downs, alerts, frames, multiple windows, shadow DOM, okay, right click, double click, mouse over events, keyboard events. So many things. So in these 4 lectures, which we started from Tuesday, we covered few parts of the Selenium. Remaining parts I already have on my YouTube channel. You'll go ahead, find out all the topics you will find. In case if you want to join the online sessions, then we are starting a batch from tomorrow. It's complete live training. Those who joined late, let me give you the link in the chat, and along with that you can use my coupon code for additional 10% off. Those who have already enrolled, thank you so much for enrolling. I will see you again tomorrow morning. Those if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the live session as well, and if you have any question, please ask now also. Tomorrow will be introduction session where we will just communicate, we will talk, we'll see what is your background, we'll have a detailed discussion about what is your expectation from the course, and what we will be learning. The complete journey part we'll discuss. Okay, now let me pick few questions from the chat, and if no other question, then we can close it. Now Kritika Sharma says, this is very good question. How can we check if this list is matching with the expected list or not? See Kritika, whenever you have expected list, okay, so this is the actual list which is coming from the application. Expected will be coming from your test case. In that case, you will be having your own list, right? So we need to create a list of string. For example, I want to verify, right now I have 37 values. So I need to have a list which is list of string which will have these 37 values. So this will be my expected. Actual I'm getting from my application. So this will be list of string, keep it separate. Right now I have a list of web elements. So what I will do, I will capture a text, add into my list. So I will create one first blank list, capture the text, add here, capture the text, add here. So once this loop will run, which we are running now, you will keep adding this text to a new list. So once this loop is done, you will be getting your own list that you can compare with the expected one. Now if I just go ahead, I need to create a expected expected list with 37, which I will not create now, but I will guide you how you can do that. So first of all, I will create a list of string, and I will say this is my actual list from Dropdown equal to new array list. Okay, this is my blank list. Now if you come back to this program, we are capturing text, right, one by one. So this text I will add into this list. So I will say dot add state name. Now see the advantage here. The moment you execute your program, this list will be blank, right? 0. It will go ahead, get the option, get the size. Now it will pick text from here, and the moment you say add this state name, it will go ahead and add to this list. Second time it will run, capture the text, which is state name, again it will go ahead and add to this. Now we'll count to is 2. Again third time count will be 3. So once your loop will be done, you will have actual list of string actual. Now how you will verify with expected? Here you need to create your expected list. Expected list. Now you can create your expected list using array list, linked list. You can use arrays as well. For example, see, this is how we can create our list, and then we can compare. Okay, this is not the complete list, so you need to add all the 37 values. This will be expected, which is coming from your test case, and the one that we created, this one, is coming from the Selenium. You can compare if actual versus expected, pass, otherwise fail. As of now you can write if else, but in test.ng we have assert method which actually asks you to compare two collection. You can compare list, set directly. You can compare. Kartika, is this clear to you? Okay, Bhaskar says, can be the BDD a part of hybrid framework? If a company use hybrid framework, can they also use BDD TD in that simultaneously? Is the company stick with one? See, Bhaskar, you have to either go with TDD or BDD. Okay, so if you're following BDD, then all your feature files will be there. You will be creating step definition, and then you will be running using test runner, right? If you're not using BDD, then you can continue with the normal script. You will create test.ng.xml and you can run via pom.xml. So it has to be either TDD or BDD. Chetna says, how can we launch Chrome browser in incognito mode? This was one of the interview question. Is there any shortcut? See, Chetna, in order to launch the browser session in incognito window, you need to use one class called Chrome options. If you want to use Chrome, then Chrome option. If you have Firefox. If you have Edge options. There you need to add one argument called hyphen incognito. You will be passing that option here. So you will be creating options class object. We'll talk about in the course anyways what is Chrome options, what is arguments and all. Here you have these arguments, right? There's one argument called hyphen incognito. And you can pass this option here. Now, personally, no need of using incognito. Why? Because every time you use Selenium, it opens a fresh profile. There's no cookies, no history, no extension, nothing. So it behaves like an incognito window. But still, if you want to use incognito, you have to add this argument. Sorry. Okay, so let me take few more questions. Jagdish says, have joined your course already. Just want to know how can the course content. See, Jagdish, first of all, 4 days are not enough to learn Selenium. The course that we have, that will go for 3 to 4 months. There we are going to discuss everything. Java, Selenium, test.ng, Maven, Git, GitHub, Jenkins, BDD, GitHub Actions. Okay, so that is in depth from the scratch till then. So these few topics obviously will remain same, right? Because send keys will remain send keys, click will remain click, whether you get from the YouTube or from the training or whether you do self-study. So the live courses are the detailed courses. Archana says, Mukesh, could you please explain job assistance program? See, Archana, job assistance means we will help you in the resume building. We will be taking a mock interviews. We have job guaranteed programs. There you will be part of program for 6 to 12 months. You have to complete all the tasks, assignments, project, internship. And if you don't get job, we will refund. In the job assistance, we will help you to clear the interviews. We will be taking a mock interviews. If you're not able to clear interviews, you can discuss with us. We will help you to clear the interviews. We will guide you what should be the answer, resume building and everything. Job guaranteed is different. Job assistance will assist you to crack your interviews. Bhaskar says, I have got one assessment from a company as part of the interview. I have tried but not succeeded. Could you please let me know if anyone can help me in this regard? See, Bhaskar, when you say I'm not able to complete, let me know what issue you're getting. See, if you give somebody the complete assessment that please do this on my behalf, nobody will do that, right? Maybe somebody will do it, they might charge you, but in interviews, if they ask you how did you do it, then again you have to answer. So just tell me the specific, maybe this scenario I'm not able to understand, maybe this condition I'm not able to write, maybe this locator issue, you have to be very specific what you are not able to complete. Okay, so just let me know if you have any specific issue, I can help you, but at the end of the day you have to write the complete assessment. Vijay Munde says, if interviewer asked how can you handle drop down, how should we answer? See, Vijay, if it is a select drop down, use select class. If it is not a select drop down, you have to use find elements, where you will get list of web elements. You have to run a loop, you have to write a condition and click on it. So two answers, either select class or go with find elements. After selecting the dropdown, depends on the validation, you can write multiple validations, whether it's disabled, multi-select dropdown, how many default selected options we have, whatever things we discussed today, right? So you joined actually a little late, so we discussed already this part. Adam says, my degree hardly cover any of this. Actually, none of this. Thanks, Adam. Actually, that is the scenario I have seen. You will find a lot of courses where they will just show you how to just do the basic scripting, but once you start working in real time, you will be handling all of this. You will be handling the proxy issues, you will be handling the certificate issues, you will be customizing the browser profiles, you will be running the test on the remote machines, right? Like AWS, GitHub Actions. You need to run your test on containers. So there we will be using Selenium grid, right? So all of this is part of this course. Satish says, hi sir, is it necessary to implement all the method of an interface? Again, a small catch, Satish. If you don't use, like, if you just take the normal interface, then yes, each and every method has to be implemented. Otherwise, you will not be able to compile your program. It will keep giving you this, implement this method. If you don't implement, it will ask you to make it abstract method. If you make that method as abstract method, you cannot create object of a class. So at the end of the day, you have to implement all the methods. But in Java 8, we have now default. So if you write default for that method, you can actually write the body. So just after this session, search for default methods in Java 8, you will get to know. Okay, then Lakshmi says QA certification. Yes, you can go ahead. There's an official certificate for manual testing, ISTQB, but for Selenium, we don't have any official certification. Even if you go to their official website, no official certification, but there are few companies who are running their own certificates that is not having much value. If you want to go with ISTQB, yes, you can go ahead. Personally, I don't have any certification. Even in interviews, it adds little value, but again, if you have the certification and if you're not able to clear the interviews or not able to answer the basic questions, it will not make sense. So focus on the concepts. Bhaskar says, can we use BDD? Yes, Bhaskar, we can. I guess you are asking the same question again. Answer is yes, you can. Yash Jairam says, can we start testing Selenium? Yes, why not? My complete career is in testing. Right from 2011 till now, I'm into testing. See, it's not in IT, everything is development. It's not everything is support or DevOps. We have a complete cycle. From the development, you can start your career from the BA, development, testing, DevOps, support. Multiple profiles are available, right? Product manager. So depends on your interest, depends on your skill set. They, like, I have seen couple of my CEO directors, they have been interested from their start, and they ended with testing career. So it's up to you whether you want to make transition in between. You can do that. Couple of my friends, they did the transition from manual to automation, then automation to DevOps, and now they're into completely different teams. So transition can happen, right? It depends on your interest, sometimes depends on the company requirement. You can start with testing and later on you can move. In companies, we have internal job openings, so you can apply. If you have the skill set, you can apply for the different role, and you can. But in simple words, yes, go ahead if you want to start your career in testing. Amit says, how to explain OOPS concept in project. Instead of project, Amit, you have to mention framework. See the first line that we are writing, web driver equal to new Chrome driver. The OOPS concept, right? So we have an interface, we have classes, we have object, we have constructor overloading, we have inheritance. So the first line of Selenium itself includes the OOPS concept. So when you start explaining a framework, you will be explaining that you will have a base class. That base class you will be extending, right? So that is also your inheritance concept. You will be creating pages in page object model. You will be creating pages for each page. Then you will be creating object. You will be using interfaces. You will be creating abstract layers. So using framework, you have to explain each and every OOPS concept. Not only OOPS concept. See, when you start building framework, you will be using all the Java concepts. You will be using collections, if else, loops, conditions, exception handling, collections, everything. So instead of just explaining OOPS concept in your framework, explain the complete Java concept that you have used. That will create more impact. Last two questions, then we can end. Lender says, is it possible to cover framework page object model tomorrow? See, it will take time. Tomorrow will be the first class. Many people will be from non-IT and they will be from I will say from the testing background. They don't know anything about the coding. We will cover the framework part, but that will be end. Once we cover all the basic concepts, then we'll build the framework. So if you are looking for the immediate one, let me know. I can help you. Okay, but it will take some time. Noor says, sir, data from Excel sheet is kept in separate class and test script is different class. How can we call the test script? See, Noor Mohammed, in framework, what we do, we create a data provider. Now this data provider can be hard coded with 2D array where you can hard code the values, or you can take this data provider and get the data from Excel, database, CSV, JSON file. It's up to you. Now you have two options. You can keep the data provider in the same class, or you can create a separate class and keep all the data providers. That is a standard way. You will have a separate class, keep all the data providers, and in this class you can keep calling this data providers. If you keep in the same class, you can do that, but again, if some other person wants to use the same data provider, again they have to override or write the same. So it's recommended, keep your script separately, data provider separately, make this static and call it. In TestNG we have this feature. Okay, Bhaskar says, how did you get this much of knowledge, Mukesh? How can you answer every question? I'm jealous of you, man. Bhaskar, you will be also able to answer all these questions once you start teaching. So I'm teaching from a long time, almost 8 years now. So I know the possible questions, possible answers, right? Sometimes it's repeated. So it's part of the teaching. So soon you can also become the part of this community if you want. Okay, so guys, it's already 1 hour 20 minutes. So I guess we can close the session. Those who joined late, there are a couple of questions which I could not select from the chat. So maybe you joined late, or maybe I missed a couple of questions. So let me end this session now. I will see you live once again, probably next week, Thursday or Tuesday. It will be live Q&A session. If possible, we'll continue this community session. So yeah, before we end, those who joined late, check out this link. If you have any friends who wants to participate or they want to join, please share with them. And I will see you all who have enrolled. I will see you tomorrow morning. Those who have not enrolled, I will see you again in the next live chat. Whatever course materials I have created will be available here. So if you search here called automation, web automation community classes, it's completely free. You can click on enroll now and proceed to checkout. No need to pay. Go to my course, and here you can see all the recordings. So let's say whatever we did yesterday, go to the resource part and you'll get the code here. In the second day, whatever we discussed, it will be available here. Okay, so please join this community sessions. You will get all the materials that we discussed. Fine, so that's all from my side, and I will see you in the next live. Let me check finally what is the next questions we have. Yes, Swati, if you have Tech Neuron, you can join. That is by default added. Manyan says your videos helped me a lot. Thank you so much, Manyan. Yes, Swati, you can go ahead and you will find the link directly. See, you will not get, you must have got the email, Swati. If not, go to the portal, go to the course on the right hand side, you will get the joining link. Okay, thank you once again, and bye bye, good night, take care, happy weekend, and I will see you in the next live. Bye bye.